guys, it's me. I'm back again. In my previous video, I had told you guys about the psychic surgery that happened to me, and this video I want to let you guys know what exactly manifested after the psychic surgery. So, like, what are the real world manifestation things that happened to me after the psychic surgery? So the psychic surgery happened where they kind of, just to recap, basically red beams went into my skull, into my brain and did something, and then my throat chakra, something, energy went in and did something, and then the heart chakra, energy went in and expanded my heart and contracted my heart and just wrung my heart out, and you know, all that stuff. So if you want more information, please watch my previous video, but the manifestations of what happened is what I'm going to talk about in this video. And so after this energy came in my body, I started feeling like I was instantly manifesting things, and it was really, really weird. So let me get into this. Like, I was in Belgrade, and then my next destination was going to be India, but India requires me to get a PCR test to enter India. So I had to get a PCR test. Unfortunately, I had to get a PCR test. So I went and got a PCR test, and they're supposed to give me the test in 24 hours, and so I was like, okay, they'll give me the test in 24 hours. But most people that I met in Belgrade, they're saying that they got their test in 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours, 12 hours. And I was like, wow, that's pretty quick. And so I hadn't gotten my test yet. And I was like, oh my God, if I don't get my test, my PCR test, and if I have to cancel my flight, I called the airline. They said it was going to cost $1,000 to cancel my flight, which is absolutely ridiculous. To change my flight ticket was absolutely ridiculous. So anyways, there's all these hurdles I have to go through, because the woman at the people that took my test, at the PCR test, didn't even give me a receipt. So it's not like I can go back and say, hey, you took the test, but I didn't get my test results back, because they don't speak English, and I don't really have proof that I took the test, because they took all my paperwork away from me, and so I don't have proof to show them that I took the test. So I was like, how am I going to deal with this situation here? And I'm just like foreign country, and I don't really speak the language, and there's really no one there to kind of help me out here. So I said, well, let me do this. Let me try to manifest my PCR report. So to just go back, basically I had taken it in the morning, right? And my PCR test hadn't come all day. So then I said, okay, when I wake up in the morning, my PCR test should be there, right? And so I woke up in the morning, and I looked at my phone, and they said they were going to email it to me. And I looked at my email, and there was no PCR test. And I was like, okay, this doesn't look good. It looks like I'm going to have to spend the whole day going back to this clinic, whatever. And I said, okay, before I do any of that, before I panic, let me close my eyes, do a little meditation, and let me try to envision how it would feel for me to have the PCR test in my inbox, like right now. So what I did is I tried to go into this manifestation, maybe parallel reality, if you want to say it that way. I don't know, but basically what I did is I closed my eyes, and I relaxed. I was completely relaxed, and I said, okay, you know what? I just visualized myself receiving this PCR test in my inbox, and how happy and how thrilled I would feel and be to receive this PCR test in my inbox. And just, I really expanded and opened my heart, and just how thrilled I would be to get this PCR test. And I just kind of meditated on that, and I said, okay, and if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I'll just have to deal with whatever it is. But I just expressed my gratitude that if, how I would feel if it actually did happen. So here I went into my dream world, and I dreamt about how wonderful it was. I opened my heart, and did all that stuff. And then I finished. I think I probably spent about 15 minutes doing that. And then I opened my eyes, and I got my phone, because my phone's right next to me, And I got my phone, and I went to my inbox, and guess what? Yeah, you guessed it. My PCR test was there, okay? So now, of course, you can think it's a coincidence. And, for me, I was like, oh, well, it was a coincidence. And in my heart, I felt like I manifested it. But, if I tell anyone else, I'd be like, well, it was a coincidence. So I said, okay, maybe it was a coincidence, whatever. And I just went about my business. and completely thrilled to pieces that I got my PCR test. So excited that I was going to go to India and everything's going to be like great, right? And so then the next thing that I manifested, so my friend, she had posted something on Facebook that she's a speaker at the Pranic World Festival, and I was like, oh wow, how nice, you know. And then I went into the link that Facebook had sent me, and I saw that she's there, she's a speaker, and I was really happy. And then I was like, I'm curious to know like who else is speaking at this Pranic festival. And then I looked on the speakers, and I saw some people that I knew, and I was like, oh my god, how exciting, you know. And I was so happy that they're speaking at this Pranic World Festival, and I was like, wow, that's so nice. And then you know, being a human being that I am, I was like feeling a little left out. I'm like, well, how come I wasn't invited to this thing? And it would be nice for me to be a speaker here. And so I was feeling a little left out, and but completely happy and thrilled for my friend. Then I was on the phone with my friend after that, and I was talking to him, and I was like, in divine timing, everything will happen. I said, if I was meant to speak, I will speak. If I'm not meant to speak, I will not speak. But in divine timing, and I get this from a bunch of my spiritual friends, you know, in divine timing, right? So I'm like, in divine timing, everything will happen for me. And so I spoke to my friend, and then I left it at that, saying, you know what, if it's meant to happen, it's meant to happen. I hung up the phone, okay? And then I get a message from my friend, and I play it because it's a voice message, and I play it. And my friend, if you know who you are, I love you. Thank you for that. So I play it, and it says, oh, hi, Rocky. I was wondering if you've been invited to the Pranic World Festival. And I was like, I can't believe my ears. Here I am just feeling left out, and here she is. As soon as I hung up the phone, here she is saying, have you been invited to the Pranic World Festival? I'm like, did she just hear my thoughts? Like, how did she just send this message? And I actually was in disbelief. I'm like, oh my God, like, anyway, so I sent her a message back saying, no, I have not been invited to the Pranic World Festival, and I will be completely delighted to speak at the Pranic World Festival. And then she's like, oh, okay. And then I don't know what she did. I think she contacted Nicholas, who organizes Pranic World Festival. And then she goes, well, you should be hearing from him soon. And I was like, oh my God. I just put it out there that it would be nice, and next thing you know, anyways, it was just unbelievable. And then anyways, Nicholas contacts me, and next thing you know, he wants me to be a speaker on the Breatharian World Festival. And so I sent him my bio, sent him my photo, and do all that kind of stuff. And this is right before I'm catching my flight out to India. And I was like, okay, I typed up the bio, and I found my photo and whatever, and I did all that, and a lot of communication back and forth. And then I sent it off to him. And so I forget the date and time I'm speaking, but he gave me a slot to speak in. And so I was like, okay, did I just manifest that? Yeah, it's too much of a coincidence that I'm thinking that it would be nice for me to be invited, and then I actually get invited, like the very next, like after the phone call, I see a message. And I thought, okay, this is getting so weird, right? So it gets weirder. So here I am, I'm going to fly out. So, okay, so that's number 2. Number 3 coincidence is, number 3 manifestation, not coincidence. Number 3 manifestation is that I'm flying out to India, and all the paperwork says that I will have to go in for a 7-day institutional quarantine, okay? And I was like, I don't want to be quarantined for 7 days when I land in India. That's crazy. I already have a PCR test. I mean, I already have the documentation they want, but they're going to quarantine me now. And I wasn't really liking that whole idea. So I kind of, before I went to bed that night, I kind of because I was landing in Mumbai, I sent Mumbai airport a lot of positive energy. And I was like, oh, I'm sending a lot of love and a lot of positive energy. And then I also visualized me landing in Mumbai airport. And because I've landed in Mumbai airport like twice before, so this will be my 3rd time. So I'm landing in Mumbai airport, and I'm thinking, okay, I exactly know the works of the whole airport, like where you land, where you go, and I visualize the whole thing, how smooth it is, how I go through immigration, how I go through the people that are doing the COVID thing, and I go through them and they look at my paperwork, they stamp me and they say, okay, thank you very much, and off on my way. And that's how I visualize the whole thing is going to be so smooth. And I visualized that before I went to bed. Then I was on this long flight and I visualized how smooth it was going to be. And after I landed, I was a little like, you know, and I said, calm down, everything's going to be fine. I sent it more energy and I visualized the whole thing. And so actually, when I landed at the airport, what happened was probably better than what I imagined. But here is my friend outside waiting for me. Okay, so I landed at the airport, I'm going through my thing, sending positive energy, doing all that, okay? And here's my friend outside waiting for me, and he sees people coming out, and there's these like prisoner kind of vans outside waiting, okay? You know how you see in the movies these people that are these convicts that are transported on these buses, or these van type, these kind of buses type things, you know. And so so he sees these people coming out, escorted, not allowed, it's all barricaded, not allowed to go into the country, but completely straight escorted into these buses that look like prisoner buses, right? And then they're taken to their hotel that they're going to quarantine themselves. And he sees that happening and people coming out, that happening, and he is like, oh my God, now she's going to have to go to quarantine. And I'm like, and that's what he tells me. He's like out there. He's like, oh my God, this is horrible. And now he thinks guaranteed I'm going to go in for quarantine, right? And I don't know what's happening outside with him out there, because I'm inside like da da da, all my positive energy going in, you know, all that kind of stuff was going on. And then I went through so many security points, each security point, they wanted to see my documents, and I showed them all throughout. Even when I went outside the gate, like outside where I was outside into the country, like outside the door of the airport, there were people standing over there wanting to see my documents, and then I showed them my documents and all that. And then the guy at the security, when I'm outside at the airport into like the open area, it's been barricaded. He opens the barricade and allows me to go through with my baggage and everything, and I just walk out like, everything's normal. And my friend is like, oh my God, I can't believe they let you out. And I was like, what happened? He goes, every single person that has come through before you has gone into the bus and they've taken them out and shipped them out to some hotel. And he's like, you're the only one that has kind of so far have come through like this. And I was like, oh really? And I had no idea what was going on there, but I was like, oh my God. And when he told me that, it just kind of didn't really hit me, but it kind of really sank into me a little later. I'm like, so actually I did manifest this, didn't I? I mean, I was sending out positive energy, and I did manifest a smooth transition through this airport. And I manifested being a speaker on the Pranic World Festival, and I manifested my PCR, my PCR results, and those are three things that I I've kind of almost instant manifestation that has happened. And I spoke to my friend about it, and she's like, yeah, you've manifested those things. And she's like, just acknowledge it, and once you acknowledge it and you feel that you have manifested, you'll start manifesting more of these things. And you know, so I was really pleased that it was like I've heard of instant manifestation, but I've never really experienced it. And so yeah, anyways, I experienced that, and I just want to share that with you guys. And I feel like that is connected to my my psychic surgery that happened to me. I'm trying to do these baby steps, like, oh, I'm going to manifest this, and then I'm going to and then I feel like as I start manifesting things, it'll build my confidence in the fact that I can manifest, and I'll get better and better at it. Not that I'm so horrible at it right now, but I feel like I'll get better and better at it, and I'll build my confidence that, hey, I am manifesting these things, because it's a fantastic feeling when you really want something, and you feel it in your heart, and you want it, and you just let it go out to the universe and say, okay, if it's to happen, it's to happen, and then it happens, and if it happens instantly, there's more gratification to that. So this journey of this Breatharian journey has just been absolutely fascinating. It started off as a food journey, to trying to get rid of food and not eat food and all that, and it has evolved into this spiritual journey, and it's just has been remarkable for me, and I have just been thrilled, and I just want to share that with you guys. So thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.